some of the things that happened. I mean, I was abandoned. That's my own experience. I've listened to Pastor Nathaniel Bassi and a whole lot of A-list artists or musicians, who will give you their episode of this same. I'm not talking of when they were not in the limelight. There are a whole lot of places, a whole lot of churches that will have you come for their event without having a plan. That on its own is what I think should be one of the issues that should be addressed.
Ministers and your cabinet, do you think that they understand that we, the people, voted them in? So which means our taxpayer is paying them. They are supposed to be an employee of the government and not the boss. But your people literally now have a mindset that because they're the minister of whatever XYZ and co, they think that they are the boss. And we who vote them there, we're nonsense.
The truth is, everyone gets paid at a level.
Everyone gets paid at a level.
Yeah.
Go deeper.
Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Like I knew you were going to debate that. Now the thing is,
defend it.
Take away the offerings and the tithes from the church. You will know the people who are truly called.
Say it again.
It's true. If you take away tithes and offerings from church activities, most of the churches we have today will close up. They will pack up. Getting your business insured is quite demanding, and you see, I don't think.
Okay, do we have insurance? Do we have insurance that covers businesses? Let's start there. You are a businessman in Nigeria. I am not.
Technically.
Okay.
Technically, I would say yes.
Technically,
yeah, but you see, the truth is.
When Nigerian man say, but you see, you know that it's about to go off ramp.
No, I'm still on track.
Okay. Because they are there for you to mention the name CAN and PFN, which means clearly the body is existing.
And they're doing a great job at the level.
Okay, but how come that when we find the disparity that is happening, let's even look at the CAN, I think it's called Christian Association of Nigeria. Yeah. Let's look at the CAN, for instance. Let's leave Pentecostal charismatic, because everybody will tell you that they have their own drama that they are doing in their place. Let's look at the one called Christian Association of Nigeria. How come that from your own standpoint, when stuff like the brouhaha that is happening around the church circle, they speak and it looks as if everybody's not hearing what's going on?
It's because everyone has a leader they're looking up to.
When you look at the leadership landscape in Nigeria,
okay,
do you think that we have a leader that can take this country to its promised land, remembering that we have spent 60 years?
So when we tell you that Nigeria is the giant of Africa, we're talking from the vastness of our culture, our people, our area, our resources, and also to think of the fact that anywhere in the world, Nigerians compete and they do so very well. So I think when we say Nigeria is the giant of Africa, that's where we're coming from.
Okay.
But now, back to the question. With the system we have now, I don't think we're going anywhere close to the promised land.
Okay. Do an average Nigerian in this country literally have a right?
Hello, my AfriOne family. I'm so excited today to be on your screen, wherever you're watching it from. I want to say thank you. And also to the followers and the subscribers, I want to say thank you to you all and to my beautiful guests who have graced me in this 1 year sitting on this very particular platform. I want to say thank you under the umbrella of AfriOne Show. So today, quickly, I'm here to just talk to you about two new products that we have released. One of them is known as the AfriOne Property. Can't blame me. I like my AfriOne network. And the second one is known as AfriOne Invest. And the first one, AfriOne Property, and the second one, AfriOne Invest. I want to encourage you, please. Are you a property owner, or maybe you're an agent, or you are a startup and you're looking for a platform for you to be able to put your properties? I want to encourage you, please, now go visit property.afrione.africa for you to get registered and also for you to start listing. You never can tell. You might be sitting with me here on this very particular table as we're going to be talking about all things property. And also on the second side of things, for those of you who are business people, you are intending to start your own business and you want to check how the market is, you want to see if your ideas are going to fly, or maybe for you, you are literally at a stage where you need to scale, but you need funding. With AfriOne Invest, it's a crowdfunding platform where people come and put their ideas and put their stuff with a possibility of either giving an equity out or probably a stake, or maybe you're looking for a partner or just a seed investor, or maybe for you just want to crowdfund people who just like your idea, just want to give you seed for you to be able to run your business. I want to encourage you also, please visit invest.afrione.africa. Invest.afrione.africa. I look forward also for me to sit with you all, either on the property side, on the business side, which is the invest side, for us to just talk about all things property and all things business. Thank you so much. Please explore this very particular website and tell us what is your experience. And definitely we're trying as much as possible for us to get all kinds of different stakeholders within the property space and also within the investment space. So if you're watching me currently and you know that you're a professional in any of this very particular field that I have mentioned right now, why don't you hit us on an email? The email is currently available on the screen, and let's get talking. You never can tell. Your idea, your skill, your coaching and your mentorship program might help somebody to be the next business tycoon in Africa. I'll see you on the flip side in you making money with us. Bye for now. Thank you.
Hello, family. Welcome again to another segment of your show known as the AfriOne Show Nigeria, which is all about bridging the divide that is currently in this very particular nation. I have a very interesting guest that we've been talking behind the scene, and trust me, you know all the episodes we're doing in Nigeria currently, trying as much as possible to get authentic voices, people who will literally carry and embody the current narrative that is happening in Nigeria and how we can then begin to solve the divide that is in this nation. And so one of the person that is sitting by my side here, I literally met him for the very first time today. We've never talked. I don't know how his voice sounds like in terms of mic, so I will know now as we talk along. But ladies and gentlemen, join me. Welcome King David JPLC. Am I correct?
That's very correct. So now you know what my voice sounds like.
Now I know what the voice sounds like. But the only thing there is the fact that we need to know if it sounds like a Nigerian voice. The average Nigerian voice that are dodging questions. You know, family, that I don't pretend. I say the way it is.
You know, whenever
the average Nigerian voice that are dodging questions, or the one that, we will see. I think he was promising me to say, okay, maybe I'll make your experience different. I don't know. But he's here. We'll see. Welcome to AfriOne Show Nigeria.
Good to be here.
Good to be here too. Good to see you. But I hope that the weather is not too hot.
No, it's cool. It's fine.
Driving to this place.
No, it's cool. We're Africans.
We're Africans.
And we love our weather.
I don't.
I do.
Exactly. Don't put me in that bracket.
Except when it gets too hot, you know.
I know Nigeria.
Yeah,
I think I was in Abuja and I was saying to a pastor that I met, the permission not to mention the pastor, I said, see, if God put Nigeria in hellfire, I know we will protest. I know, I'm sorry. We will protest. It's unfair. We have experienced pain in this country. We're not doing it again. But as we begin to go down on our show, King David JPLC.
Yeah.
Who is King David JPLC? For the audience that are meeting for
King
the very
David
first time.
JPLC is a Nigeria-based musician, and I'm married. I've got two beautiful kids, Delina and Davina, and also my beautiful wife, Theodora Abroko. Shout out to you guys wherever you are, and I hope you're watching right now. I'm a musician and also a businessman, so to keep it short.
A musician and a businessman. Yeah. I think let me talk about the business of things first. Okay. When we look at the business thing in Nigeria, or before I even get to the business in Nigeria, why did you go into business?
Good.
Welcome to AfriOne Show. That's how my show is.
Okay.
Now, let me also adjust because I know that it's about to get deeper.
Yeah.
He's adjusted. Let me also adjust.
Okay. Now, when I was done with school, I knew definitely gospel music was going to be a great part of my life.
Okay.
And through service in the kingdom, most times you are left with the reward that comes from above.
Through service in the kingdom,
yes.
Most times
leaves you with the reward that comes directly from above.
You're looking for my trouble. God. Why most times?
God has to reward you. Do you know? So
which means if you say most time God has to reward you, which is not all the time.
No. God.
Because you said most.
God is a faithful rewarder.
Okay.
But you know, human beings, well, people have expectations. When you're in a system and you feel you're serving, you're loyal, you're committed, your entire life is given to that place. Let's say the church, for instance, now, and probably the system does not have a good reward system. It happens. It happens.
Okay.
It happens. So for me, I went into business because I needed to give a balance. I needed to, at a level by myself, sponsor my projects. Music is expensive. So the main...
Tell your people.
Music is expensive, from the production, the video shoots, name it, the trips, I mean, it's expensive.
And yet you go and how do
and
you
I've been through a lot. I can tell you, I've been through a lot. I just knew that no, because most of these places you go to may not really honor you, and it's entrenched in scripture that when the musician comes to minister or bless the people spiritually, it's in the scripture.
It's in the scripture
that you should be given material things.
No, but I'll tell you that it's aligned to the priest also, to the priest alone.
No, everyone who is well rooted in the kingdom and in the scripture, we know. I think the problem most people have today, permit me, is the fact that some people outrightly come up and charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
You look as if you are looking for my trouble.
I'm ready to go all in. Bring it on.
Now, if you say that the problem is most people come in and charge, is it not because they've been burnt? And so because of that, they now decide to create a system for themselves to say, if I'm going to come to your church,
to avoid and prevent.
To avoid and stuff, to filter the ones who will want to take them for granted. Don't you think that's the reason why they charge?
Yes. Now, before I begin to answer that question directly, let me say that at a very high level, you have to be selfless in anything that's going to give you fulfillment. You will have to do it for a long time without financial rewards. Okay. So the thing now is, a whole lot of people, especially gospel musicians, came up with the pricing system to avoid certain treatments of dishonor.
Okay.
I'll tell you my story. Just one.
All right. That's fine.
While I was a student, actually, I studied at the Benson Idahosa University, Edo State. Someone invited me, someone of repute. I think it's okay for me not to call the name.
No, it's fine. I don't believe in calling name because it's name business now. It's causing problem.
So I went all the way from Delta State. It was an interstate trip.
Okay.
As a student, when I was going, unfortunately, back in the days when, there were no easy ways to just get money along the way, and all that. So I misplaced my wallet, my cards, everything got missing. And then, so long story short, I went for the event. When I was done, when I finished singing, I was left in the hotel. I started thinking, and I ministered powerfully well. That kind of event where they keep you for the last. Everyone, because I was new to that terrain, just like we're meeting for the first time.
Yeah.
So everybody was wondering, who is this guy that is being reserved for the last spot? It's a big deal sometimes in an event where everyone is looking forward to ministrations or performances, and then someone is kept for the last. It goes a long way to show that this one, that was how I was left there. It was checkout time. The hotel management came for me. Unfortunately, I didn't have any money on me. I literally had to beg to go back to the park. Do you understand me? So, and while I was at the park, I'm an artist, I'm a musician and all that, looking so beautifully dressed, it was even more difficult for me to not start begging people. But that was when I realized that sometimes some of the people you see begging money on the street, it's real, it's for real. So,
wow.
It gave me a paradigm shift. So long story short, God brought somebody, a student of my school, Benson Idahosa University. While the guy was coming, he was hailing me, "Hey, King David, bad guy, you don't come here, you don't come shut down." I was looking at it.
Like, I wish you understand.
So that even made it difficult for me to even now tell him that, oh boy.
See what happened.
And they touched me here.
Because the guy is even expecting you for you to drop.
I'm telling you.
Drop something.
But I heard it clearly in my ear. If you let this boy go.
You are sleeping in the park.
So, and I think that's one of the ways, that's what I meant when I was telling you that your reward and a blessing will have to come from God. Yeah. Because God sees you. He sees you, especially as someone who's given to the kingdom work. And it always comes true. It always comes true. So all these things happen quite a lot.
Yeah.
You go for an event, you mobilize your entire team, and then, a lot of people are trekking home. That's all in the past now. So some people started coming up with a system that will ask you questions, will put you through, okay, what's your plan? Are you aware King David is coming with, King David has a 4-man band. So that gives you an idea.
Okay.
If you ask me, I think it's a better way to do this.
Okay, so if for somebody who's watching, I'm not a musician, so I don't understand. Obviously, like we're saying off air, for those of you who knows me, obviously I operate within the ministry circle and stuff, the church circle. I'm a church boy, church stuff. But I don't understand how you guys operate. But now for somebody who is watching you currently now, and the person is in this ministry of gospel music, and now they are frustrated, for example, with the story you've just shared, what would be your advice to such person? Because you said something that in my head, I'm like, that most times your reward comes from heaven, but how long is the most that you have to wait?
All the time. You can't determine that.
Okay, that's one.
That's the beautiful part about true service.
Yeah, so my admonition to you now is, I need you to help me advise somebody who is currently watching and is struggling for you to get to this very particular place. Yeah. And they are at a place whereby they want to fold their pen and stop writing song. I'm not saying close their Bible, but their pen to stop writing song. That is one. Second group, so-called men of God, our kind, because I'm part of them, who are, for lack of better word, do not understand what it entails. Because I know off air we were talking about the whole, what you call, charade of things that you need for you to be able to successful gospel minister and stuff. Advice to the guy who is currently about to give up, guy or lady, or secondly to pastors, my kind, who still have this dogmatic religious thinking that you don't pay musicians. What will you say to them?
Okay, well, first, to the guy, to the lady, the woman or man out there, giving up is never an option, okay? Giving up it has never been an option. So don't give up. Now, about charging, the truth is, everyone gets paid at a level.
Everyone gets paid at a level.
Yeah.
Go deeper. That's how we say it in South Africa. Go deeper.
Yes. Now, so every musician, be you gospel or whatever, gets paid at a level. For an event organizer, even in church, and this will make me say this now, there are you see, most of these musicians who are named to be people who charge, if you check very well, most of them, they don't call figures for ministries that they know.
Okay.
They don't call. As a gospel musician, there are certain places. First, I don't charge. I must establish that. I've never charged. And for me, it was an instruction from God to me. Quote me anyway.
So just because you don't charge, you don't force your system to the next person who charge?
No, I don't.
Okay. I just need to clear it.
No, I don't. Because I just told you some of the things that happened. I mean, I was abandoned. That's my own experience. I've listened to Pastor Nathaniel Bassi and a whole lot of A-list artists or musicians, who will give you their episode of this same. I'm not talking of when they were not in the limelight.
Now that they're in the limelight.
There are a whole lot of places, a whole lot of churches that will have you come for their event without having a plan. That on its own is what I think should be one of the issues that should be addressed.
Tell them.
It should be addressed. Have the churches and the event organizers in church put up events at the level that they can afford. Because some of the people you say don't charge, some of the people you say they don't. If you check the places where they enter, they are places of value, places of repute, honorable men and women at the end of affairs in those places. They know when you come. When you step into an event and then you see in your hotel room, I know you've had such experiences, branded, throw pillows, from the airport when you're being received. I mean, there are people who just know what to do. So I think one of the answers to this questions that are flying up there is, let the event organizers in church, be pastors, be musicians, or resource persons at any level, put your events together within a space that you can afford,
whereby everybody can be honored.
Okay, so I think one of the things that should be looked into is, let's go back to honor, true honor, and value for people, because it's in scripture that people who serve in the house of God, in the courts of God, it's in scripture, it's entrenched in the scripture that they should be rewarded. So it means the church administration, the church system at all levels should know by default that when people come to minister to you, I'm not telling you to do what's beyond the capacity of the church. No, because I think one of the major issues people have is when people outrightly come out and tell you, because quite a lot of people do that. My charge is 20 million, it's 15 million and all that. So let's fix it. Let's go back to having events, knowing that you shouldn't stretch the event beyond what you can afford because there are people around.
Yeah, but another thing again there is, which I'm happy the way we're having a conversation, is the fact that, for example, the event planner you were talking about, which include both the pastor or the musician and stuff. Yeah. There's this place where, and this is a question I want to throw, where do you draw the line between faith in doing an event and the reality that your budget is literally 1,000 rand? Sorry, let me bring it to Nigerian naira. 1,000 naira.
Bring it home.
Yeah, your event is literally 1,000 naira. That's the budget. So don't play faith of now trying to do an event of 2,000 naira when you know that your budget is 1,000 naira. Because there's also the place of faith whereby, no, we're trusting God and stuff, so we are going to increase the kind of people we're going to bring. It's a thing of 2,000, but literally your liquid cash is 1,000. So where do you draw the line?
Yeah, in the kingdom, our currency is faith, and it's real.
Okay.
It's real. When you leverage on it, when you live your life faith-based, you get results. Okay. But I believe there are different stages and phases in putting up. I'm an event organizer.
Okay.
I've been doing this from my early teenage and all that.
I'm tempted to ask, when are you going to come to the event in South Africa?
In South Africa, pretty soon. Very soon.
Okay.
Very soon. You know.
We're waiting.
We'll tell you when we're coming.
Very soon.
Yeah. You know. So when you get the best of results when you stay within the faith zone. And it's good to stretch yourself beyond what you can afford. Because if you're actually in the kingdom, this is almost going the opposite way of what I said already.
Exactly.
but then I'm driving at the point. I'll go a little deeper. You know, so this
finally,
is
guys, you understand my pain now.
I think
let you bail yourself.
Yes, and I'll do that very well. You know, so as a Christian and as an event organizer, I have raised my faith to the highest point because I knew exactly in my spirit and my heart what I wanted to achieve. And I didn't want, because if you actually look at the resources you have, you will never, if I ask you now in depth, most of the biggest successes you've had, they are not logically, they were not, you couldn't put them together. You just had to just believe. It works. It's a universal law and all that. So, but my strategy is this. As the time for the event is coming, I've spoken with my friends, and it's always good to speak with your guests who are coming to do stops with you on clear, understandable terms. And most times you can do that with your friends. I have a lot of friends I invite for my events and all that. Now, if the event is very close, I bring everything back to what I can see while leaving the window open.
So which means, if I get you right, you play faith.
Yes.
But at the end of the day,
wisdom.
You still stick with your budget.
Yes, at a level. There's room for that. Because why would you want to go ahead with an event that's going to run into millions and you have less than 500,000 for the event?
Okay.
And you have a few days to the event.
A few days to the event, 500,000, but you have planned your guests and every other people on 1 million. So
you call them and you apologize and you decline.
You decline their comment.
It's more honorable. Yes.
So what happened?
Because you run into debt.
What happened to your image?
Your image.
Yeah.
You just saved yourself the actual, saved yourself of the actual damage that's going to come. For real.
Okay. With that being said, obviously the church part, music, and all of those things. Yeah. When you look at it from the church part, what do you think, for example, you people as musicians, and cut across all the levels, like you said, every musician gets their paid based on their level.
Everyone is getting paid at a level. Every church is paying at a level.
Yeah, that's the word you said. Everyone is getting paid at a level, and every church is paying.
Even the church that doesn't believe that people should be paid is
paying at a level.
All levels,
Okay. Now, my question to you is, when we look at the ecosystem of the church in Nigeria, What do you think it's the biggest disparities that is costing this brouhaha that we see, that at the end of the day, we don't even know how to find a way of bridging it to literally just have Christ as our focus?
Okay. Very straight answer to that question. We need to have a central point of control to be actively involved in the church activities. We need to...
Central point of control.
Yes.
Like
We have, in Nigeria, we have what we call CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria.
Okay.
Then we have PFN, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, and we have some other charismatic movements, We have other,
other
now,
Pentecostal, other church groups.
Denominations and other. Now, the truth is, not until we get to a point where there's a central point where someone speaks and everybody listens.
So you think in Nigeria at the moment, the church circle don't have that someone speak, everybody listen?
Don't think so.
So what is causing...
On some of the key issues.
So what is causing that? What is causing that there is a voice that is not currently being stationed to speak to the people? What is causing that very particular problem? Because at the end of the day, you've just mentioned CAN, CAN, PFN, all of this.
PFN, Pentecostal Fellowship.
So why is their voice not strong to be able to control?
I may not really be able to explain that. Because...
Remember, this is your perspective.
Yeah, it has to be my perspective. Yeah.
Because they are there. For you to mention the name CAN and PFN, which means clearly the body is existing.
And they're doing a great job at the level.
Okay, but how come that when we find the disparity that is happening, even with let's even look at the CAN, I think it's called Christian Association of Nigeria. Yeah. Let's look at the CAN, for instance. Let's leave Pentecostal charismatic, because everybody will tell you that they have their own drama that they are doing in their place. Let's look at the one called Christian Association of Nigeria. How come that from your own standpoint, when stuff like the brouhaha that is happening around the church circle, they speak and it looks as if everybody is not hearing what's going on?
It's because everyone has a leader they're looking up to.
So why don't we have the CAN?
And the system is structured such that you listen to your pastor. I've been in certain places where certain meetings could be called. Let me use myself. I think I need to speak for myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go into certain places, right? And you want to put up an event. Excuse me.
Sorry, you can take water.
Yeah. And bills are out. Billboards are out, information is going around and you're having an event. What is expected of the body of Christ is, even if you're not invited for that event, you should show up.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, there are many places that will not, where instructions can even go out to say nobody should show up for that event. And when people tell you the Spirit of God, nobody wants to argue within the kingdom. Nobody wants to argue with you, except it goes against the foundation on which the kingdom stands, which is the word of God. When you mention, the Spirit of God has led, most times people, they have a second thought if they want to question you or ask you.
So which means a lot of people are using the Spirit of God to literally, I feel like saying it like it's in my mind, to literally cause the divide that is happening.
You're very correct. And the truth is, I told somebody a long time ago, church to some people is an escape route. There are quite a lot of vulnerable people.
When you say
around.
Escape route, what does that mean?
Yeah, some people, they feel that it's an opportunity for them to make money. Now, let me explain what I'm trying to say. I told somebody some time ago, I said, if you take away the offerings and the tithes from the church, you will know the people who are truly called.
Say it again.
It's true. If you take away tithes and offerings from church activities, most of the churches we have today will close up, they will pack up. So there are a whole lot of people who should be controlled. I
feel like we should even do a one-day Sunday, but there's no tithe and offering in church. Let's see if the pastor will come to church and come and preach.
It won't work for most people who claim that they are called. So excuse me.
Sorry.
So the motivation for most people who go around with questionable dimensions and character on the altar in the name of, Take away the tithes and the offering. You won't see them.
All right. I think, family, because of my time, we'll be going on the second segment where we'll be talking about all things the business ecosystem of Nigeria. Now, the final segment, we'll talk about the leadership, especially. But for the second segment, while we're going on the break, the question I want to ask you, which we end up going on the church side this segment, but the question I want to ask you as we go on break, when you look at the business ecosystem of Nigeria from your standpoint, do you think that the business system in Nigeria is worth emulating for other countries to copy, or Nigeria is still a baby, regardless of the fact that they are known as the giant of Africa? It's a question that my guest is going to answer when we come back on this very particular second segment of the show. Do we still uphold as a nation called the giant of Africa, or we've lost that very particular ranking? He's a gospel musician. I want to see if he's going to mix faith. Like he was doing me that. You see the first segment, he was doing me all of this. No, this is my terrain. We'll meet on this second segment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. I'm still your host, the Afropolitan Apostle, Darlington Steve. All right, family, we are back again on the second segment, all things Nigeria. And this very particular time, we'll be talking about business sector. Before we went on the break, I was asking my guest around the ease of doing business in Nigeria. And from what I gather, he's going to tell us if it's quite easy. And for those of you who are diaspora, hoping to come to Nigeria to come and do business, I think we're going to get a clear idea if it's possible and if it's not possible. And I don't put words in the mouth of my guest. And so they are going to say it in their own perspective. And if they say it, please still do me a favor, like I like saying, still do your research. So welcome back again on the second segment. I hope I'm not pushing the button too far.
No.
I'm still calm. I'm still on my low level, but hopefully the second segment, I need to go into the Afropolitan of me. You actually went to the apostleship, but I want, because that's why it's called Afropolitan Apostle. So I do the apostle at the end.
Okay.
So, but you make me brought it to the beginning.
Okay.
So now there's balance.
Fine. That's fine.
What's the ease of doing business in Nigeria from your standpoint?
Okay. Doing business, speaking from the standpoint of a businessman, someone who is actively involved in the business terrain, it's quite difficult. And it's difficult basically because you have...
as you say now, my neck balance, because the guest before you said it's easy.
No, it's not easy. There's nothing good that comes easy. And I don't think Nigeria should be an exception. It's not easy. What's easy about, I just told you all our offices run strictly on diesel from the start point of the business. We resume 6:30 a.m. and then we close 10 p.m. every day. How much is a liter of diesel now?
So, you said it's not easy.
So, no, it's not.
Give me the average man ecosystem of doing business in Nigeria from idea to seeing that very particular thing actualizing. How does it go?
Okay, how it goes is, and I'm going to say that for myself.
For you, yeah.
For myself.
Because I'm happy that you're a musician and this is a business person.
Yeah, okay. I'll still have to go a little bit into the musician part of me a little. As a musician, I'm not going really deep into that.
Okay.
But, the motivation for business for me was, I wanted to get to a point I told you, where I could foot my bills, so I could take care of my family. It became very clear to me early enough that I'll need a lot of money to live the life of my dreams. As a man, as a father, as a husband, and also as a musician. So the idea came, and then I'm trying to tell you what it was for me. It wasn't an easy one. The idea came, and then initially we didn't have all the capital. And good enough, my elder brother was working in the bank. He helped us. I'm actually in partnership with my younger brother. So we got in touch with my brother, who helped us at the level to get some loans from the bank, a certain level of interest and all that. So
how easy was that process in getting a loan?
It was very easy. Yes.
You're confusing me.
I'll tell you what I mean. There are moments where certain things just work for you because you have access to certain people within certain quarters. And it's given everywhere.
So which means it's your access you have in the quarters that made it easy for you. Without those assets in those very particular quarters, how would it have been?
It would have been really, really difficult. Because when you're stepping in to get
so which means in the world of South Africa, where I came from, the flag that I represent, you are a privileged society person in Nigeria.
At a level.
So which means then your people from the mainland, chances are they cannot be able to cooperate and understand your narratives because that's not their reality.
But again, there are systems. Let me take it to another side now. There are systems. I mean, there are systems that you can go through, even in the bank.
Such as? You're a businessman.
Loan schemes and all that. Yeah, there are people have access, and there are some. I've never gotten anyone though. In Nigeria, I've never received any form of loan directly from the government, like, but there are some people, and these things, it all boils down to, that's what I'm saying, the information that's available to you. Because there are certain funds that are released in the forms of loans. If you don't have an idea, if you don't have people within, or you're not open to the portals where this information are given,
you struggle. How after in the dissemination of information in
and
Nigeria,
the truth is, there are quite a lot of people who are compromised in the system. It's true. So as simple as I'll tell you my experience. As simple as having a form of national ID card and all that.
Oh, that's what's it called? NIN, yeah.
Now, it's bad, and I have to say it for what it is, because I don't know if there are checks and balances. If people, sometimes I'm tempted to think that they're not even aware, and that's a flaw. That's an error. I kept going to this place for 3 weeks straight.
NIN.
I went as early as 5 a.m. in the morning. 6 a.m. Sometimes you may even be the first person to get there.
So what time do they open if you are there by 5 a.m.?
Let's say 8, 9, or 10.
And you are there by 5
and you're trying to secure a spot. I mean, something that just shows that you're a Nigerian. You can use it in the bank, use it at the airport and other places. And it was quite a big deal then, So it's the truth. Now, it was someone that called me, that told me, I've noticed you've been coming here for like 3 weeks now. See what you have to do. So I had to give someone that same paper they were saying was not available. And I had pity for the rest of the people who were even there that came before me, because without them knowing they didn't know what was going on. As simple as basic as that. So that tells you when money, I'm not talking about money being, this is just a normal system. What is your right?
Right, yeah.
That you should just have. As basic as that.
Then I'm trying to ask now, do an average Nigerian in this country literally have a right?
Yeah, we do. What's in the papers?
Not on real life.
It doesn't apply in most real-time situations. You hear situations.
I'm liking your talk because, like you said, you are redeeming yourself. You're redeeming me.
Do you understand?
You're redeeming my thinking in Nigeria now.
There are quite a lot of stuff that you see surface on the internet, and then you wonder what's going on. You just can't explain it. Probably there's some certain transactions at certain levels, and people are not aware these things happen. I saw, this is business related now, I saw on social media yesterday and a couple of days before now, how people's farms were being damaged, literally by the herders, not directly to any tribe now or whatever, because a herder could be anyone. Where I'm from, we have some of the elites who are into cattle rearing and other forms of farming and all that. So it may not really be, let's not target
nationality. Let's not target tribe.
Any ethnicity, any group, or you could literally see the herders pulling out the cassava, already grown cassava, pulling them
for their cattle to eat.
And that's quite some. I mean, these things are out there, but you wonder why nobody's talking about it. So, quite some level of, practices that make you wonder.
That is something that I discovered in Nigeria in my few days thus far being here, and which is something that I don't understand, especially on the business side of things. You register a company, your portal system in registering a company is not as easy. This is my own opinion. It's not as easy as it's like ABC.
Yeah.
When you were getting your business registered down to the point of you complying with, whatever you do, all the compliances that needed in your business, how easy were those very particular things for you to get? to be compliant with whatever the government says that you must have? How is it?
As a matter of fact, that's another tough one. If I must tell you the truth is, it's not enough to get identified, as a taxpayer, or getting to follow the rules, as it will help your staff welfare and all that. Do you know, when we started our business, the levies that were coming on us, they were quite outrageous. Quite outrageous. While there are systems on ground to let you know this is the strength of the business, this is what we do, there are default levies that will be on you. So that's what I'm telling you. It's not easy. Anyone who tells you.
So these levies that are coming, were they structured levies, or is just somebody who just wake up in the morning and just say, because you are just a fine brother, let's fine you?
As a business owner, depending on the community and the environment you find yourself, as a business owner, you must understand the language of the people. I'm talking about language. I'm not talking. You must understand how the people think. There are some of them. I'm not talking about their literal language. Their behavioral conduct.
Okay.
Now, where we do business in Delta State, some of the people, they just look at you and they feel that this guy's business is doing very well. They begin to calculate your money for you. And the same thing, some government officials, they do that. So they will drop on your table certain levies that really are quite outrageous and unrealistic. And to your greatest surprise, if you don't find a way to know, because there are some of these agencies that are fake. It's impersonation. There's hunger. People are hungry. So some people just come up. We can actually get different groups. Maybe they think that I'm not enlightened, but I don't know. Different groups of people coming to represent something, a particular aspect of the government, to say, okay, this is your annual fee and all that. And I had to go and I had to tell, because quite a lot of business owners were already planning to fold up. Some literally folded up.
So from what I'm gathering, the ease of doing business for you as a Nigerian in Nigeria is not easy.
It's not easy.
So for a diaspora now currently watching you now, like my kind, who wants to come establish business in Nigeria, what are the loopholes that you must try to tell them to avoid? What are those things?
Okay.
Imagine me, your brother.
Yeah.
Coming from South Africa, I want to be in Nigeria.
Okay.
I want to do a business. Whether it is you say you're into.
I'm a food vendor.
Let's say I want to come do a food vendor business like your kind. For instance, South Africa, we have this thing called kosher basket and all of those things. Let's say I want to bring kosher basket business in Nigeria, because I'm not here. I don't know what business to do. What are the pitfalls or the pitholes I should avoid because you are experiencing that space, in the food space? What are the things that I must avoid in doing business of food in Nigeria?
Okay. There are some that are quite inevitable. I just told you one of mine, which is power. Generally, in most parts of Nigeria, especially the suburbs, the places that are not really the city centers, even in the cities, there are quite a lot of places where you may not have power. You will have serious challenge with power and light. So before you step into any environment for business, especially in Nigeria, you must know what's obtainable, what's on ground, what has the government provided for my business to thrive. You must put all that. What's the road network in the place? What's the location of my business? For instance, now, business outlets are quite strategically located. One of them is very close to a campus environment, so, and then the other ones are well sited where you have residencies and people. They're not really business areas and all that. So you must put all those into consideration, so you don't invest trying to make money and then you end up losing it all.
Let me try and bring it back home to you.
Okay.
When you were planting your business, when you were starting, what were the factors you put into consideration in you starting? Obviously, I understand that, okay, fine, you were making a plan so that you can be able to finance your music and all of those very particular things, and your family and all of that. Good. Now we're talking about the business, the food vendor business. What were the things that you put on the table to say, okay, these are the things that I'm going to do in actually making this business to become a reality?
Yeah. First, you definitely have to get your business registered.
Okay.
Just get your business registered.
And how easy is that process?
It's quite easy, very easy. It was very easy for me. We didn't spend too much to do that.
Oh, I forgot that he says the privileged ones.
No, this aspect of it has nothing to do with
It has nothing to do with privilege. You toe on the line.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you have to do it for your own good, because if you don't do that, much later the system at a level will catch up with you, and then you begin to pay quite.
But a lot of business that is currently run in Nigeria
that are not registered. Yes, and that's against the law. It's wrong.
Okay,
it's wrong. So when they catch up with you at a level,
not registering your business
come heavy on you. It comes with consequences. It's against the law.
Okay, so continue. I'm listening.
Do you know?
Register your business.
Yeah, get your business registered, and of course, for a kind of business, you have to ensure staff welfare, because we work with ovens in the kitchen. You have to provide safety, a very safe environment.
Safety was
safety is key. You must take your staff through regular or routine health check. I mean, we're talking about food, so you don't get someone have your food contaminated and all that. So, so those were some of the things that we had to put in place.
Where's the place of business insurance within your business ecosystem and also in the business of Nigeria? The business insurance scheme of things. How viable is that in Nigerian economy?
The business insurance.
Oh, you don't believe in business?
I do. I do.
Like, what are you saying, my friend? Open your shop and do your thing. What insurance are you looking for?
Now, the truth is, getting your business insured is quite demanding, and you see, I don't think.
Okay, do we have insurance? Do we have insurance that covers businesses? Let's start there. You are a businessman in Nigeria. I am not.
Technically.
Okay.
Technically, I would say yes.
Technically.
Yeah, but you see, you know, the truth is,
when Nigerian man say, but you see, you know that it's about to go off ramp.
No, I'm still on track.
Okay.
The thing is, Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Huh? Like, I knew you were going to debate that. You know, now the thing is,
defend it. Hold it by holding your flag. Carry your flag. Carry your flag. And
this is the giant of Africa. As a matter of fact, I'm going to
open. I need to be sure that you know what you are saying.
Yeah, you know. So I'm a proud Nigerian, and then, but I think we're in the process. The country is still evolving. It's still getting developed.
After 60 years plus.
Yeah, it depends on the systems, the working systems. As a matter of fact, you know of the mass exodus of Africans, not just from Nigeria, to the rest of the world. There are systems that are put in place.
So who used to put the system?
You know, people say generally that there are certain things you travel out of Nigeria. When you leave the four walls of this country, you won't have to pray for them.
You are very correct.
You understand?
There's a certain prayer point when I'm in Nigeria here. I'm looking at them like that prayer point doesn't make sense.
For instance, light, certain roads you want to travel, they are not so good.
So in Nigeria, I was told that a pastor, I don't know the pastor, but I read it in an article, that the road was supposed to be constructed and the road wasn't constructed. The pastor went there to anoint the road. I think it was Show that was mentioning that. Because I like following the Show guy. He knows how to look for trouble.
All such practices are uncalled for when the system is really working. You know, so there's corruption at certain levels. So
you said something about your flag, which you said you're proud of being a Nigerian. Why are you proud being a Nigerian?
I'm proud to be a Nigerian because beyond all odds, we shine.
Beyond all odds, we shine.
Yes, we shine.
What are the odds that makes us still shine beyond it?
The odds is
because you have to acknowledge the odds, and you can't just blanket it and say odds. What are the odds that are there? That an average Nigerian like your kind who says, I'm proud to be a Nigerian.
Yeah.
Still shines. So what are the odds? You don't need to mention everything, but just give me top 3 that's currently now playing in your head.
Top 3. I think I should come from the point of a businessman now. First, access to loans for people who want to have a fresh start. There are people really, some of the things that you could be asked to bring if you're going for certain loans, they're quite unrealistic. someone is coming for probably some cool millions, not really so much, and then someone is asking you for an asset. If I had such assets, then
why would I come and we won't ask for a loan?
do you understand? Yeah. So when we have a system created that will allow everybody anywhere to have access to good education, to good roads, accessible roads, stable light or power supply, and all that. I mean, I'm trying to give you a few. These are some of the things that could be odds, but I'm telling you that we've seen the resilience of Nigerians and Africans.
That you guys
I'm not just speaking for Nigerians alone. We still rise at the scent of water. That's scripture now. I mean, just proximity to the slightest opportunity you have. Check it. It's in the records. Nigerians are quite outstanding everywhere.
So
it's the truth.
Yeah, Nigerians are quite outstanding everywhere. Not that, see, for those of you watching me, especially you Nigerian youth in particular, calm down. Don't come with your madness on my side here.
We're nice people.
Don't come. Let me say it quickly. Don't.
They won't come from you.
They just relax. You see this show, leave it. If you don't want problem. But now this is the thing there that I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Is understanding the fact that you're holding the flag and you say that the giant of Africa, knowing too well with all of the odds, do you think that name, the giant of Africa, that flag still carries it? Yes. Do you notice that his voice went low?
Yes. Yes.
The first answer is the answer. Come on, let me just say yes, because this guy want to put me in trouble. You see why I said politically answer? Yeah, finally.
But do you think that's a political answer?
It's a political answer because the obvious is there. I've just said to you when we
state the obvious.
The obvious number one is the fact that Nigeria doesn't have a system at all that works.
I can say that point blank. I think at a level,
I will say it holding this. The system that works in Nigeria, I used to say it everywhere, and on my show, you can go there and actually check. Those of you who knows point blank, I'm holding the South African flag and stuff because I've stayed there for almost 2 decades and stuff. Yeah. The system in that very particular country, you can predict in the morning that when you wake up in the morning and you're going out by 5 p.m. to come back, you're guaranteed that you will come back with 1,000 rand, holding 100 rand going. Nigeria, you know to where the chances are maybe as you are going, each man for themselves, God for us all. Because why? The system is not there at all to guarantee it. And yet you now still tell me that is the giant of Africa, number one. Number two, your banking system in Nigeria. I'm so sorry. Yes, it's secure in terms of access for fraud issues, stuff to happen within the banking system. But at the end of the day, South African banking system to Nigeria, South Africa has what I call a structured liquid banking system. Nigeria is still fluid. You want to open an account in Nigeria till tomorrow, I still keep saying this. I'm shocked because I tried to register a business in Nigeria here. And to open a bank account, they were asking me for guarantor. The first question, I almost slapped the person. I don't want to mention the bank name. I'm like, is the guarantor going to put money in my account? Or I'm the one who is going to do business to bring money into my account? They kept quiet. To cut the long story short, they may not mention the bank name. They end up opening the account because they know that this guy is saying something that is right. I'm like, no, stop that nonsense. 3 guarantor, where will I find it? I just came into your country not less than 30 days. You said, where do you want me to go find 3 guarantor from? Are they the one who's going to do business in my account? And yet you still say the giant of Africa. That's where I'm coming from. Number 3, look at your economy. Yes, we can save economic power, 200 million plus of people. It's human resource economy we're talking about. But at the end of the human resource, is there a resources that the human can do? It's a third question. We'll be right back after this very particular break. You see, his leg has crossed. We'll be coming back on the final segment. We'll be talking about leadership in Africa. And the question that we're going to go into is when you look at the leadership landscape in Nigeria. Do you think that we have a leader that can take this country to its promised land? Remembering that we have spent 60 years. Have that 60 years at the back of your mind. Look at it from your gospel business that you are doing and also your food business. That the structure system that needs you as a businessman, you as a musician. Because, for instance, I tell people, I say the reason why an average South African musician is still because there's a system. For instance, I don't know about your Nigerian music. Do you guys get royalty from the music being played?
We do.
The music being played on the radio station?
Yeah, everyone who's smart enough and well informed about the systems that have been created.
So your radio stations here pay you your music and stuff.
Yes.
But not everybody is privy to that very particular information.
That's what I'm telling you. You have to be aware.
But at the end of the day, this is information that needs to be out there for the people and not me now have to go and, for lack of better word, try to carry a camel to pass through an eye of a needle to get that very particular information. Remember that I'm talking as a foreigner in quote in this country. Now, I say all of that question in terms of leadership so that when we come back, do you think that in Nigeria at the moment, you are a Christian, I wanted to say pastor, a Christian, gospel artist, a businessman, a father, a brother, father of two, a brother, a husband to somebody? Do you think that the leadership landscape can literally take us to the promised land that we're looking for in Nigeria currently? The answer is yes or no. And if it's no, what needs to happen? If it's yes, what is on ground that needs to be improved? We'll be right back after this very particular break as we come on the final segment of this very particular show to talk about all things leadership with my wonderful guest. And he'll be telling us also about his project that he's going to be doing probably this year. He said to me on one of the segments that he's looking forward coming to South Africa to come and do something. I don't know what that is, but we'll talk on the show and see how he's going to find himself in South Africa. I think all I can say is the fact that I wish he will come. I'm there. We'll see how we facilitate.
We'll let you know.
So, but we'll know on the final segment on the show. But right back, still the Afropolitan Apostle. If you have any question, please, you can definitely send it on the email that's available on the screen, and we'll take it up from there to make sure that you get all your question answered. I'll be right back just now. Family, we are back again on the final segment on all things leadership in Nigeria. I'm laughing because my guest literally has his friend who's at the back there. The guy came for me. I'm still sitting here on this very particular show. It's still a miracle. But I'll try as much as possible. One day, maybe he will come and sit here. Then I will do the link between him and the guest that is at the back. Hopefully. But when we went on break, we were talking about all things leadership in Nigeria. And then the question in which I threw to you is the fact that do you think that the leadership, what's called structure that we have in Nigeria at the moment, can literally take us to the promised land? Understanding, like I said to you, I'm just repeating, understanding that you're a businessman, you're a gospel musician, and all of the things that you are. Do you think that the landscape can be able to take us to the promised land? Or we are just hoping, as usual, Nigeria, the flag you hold, you guys have a lot of hope.
Yeah, we have a lot of hope. And please permit me to take you back about the Nigeria being the giant of Africa. I'm going to come from this perspective. The truth is, it's undeniable. The vast land area that we have in Nigeria, our rich oil and other resources, and most importantly, the human capacity, the human capital we have, the people we have are people who are resilient. You can't take that from Nigerians. No doubt we have a system that may not really be working, but we have the people who always rise above. So when we tell you that Nigeria is the giant of Africa, we're talking from the vastness of our culture, our people, our area, our resources, and also to think of the fact that anywhere in the world, Nigerians compete and they do so very well. So I think when we say Nigeria is the giant of Africa, that's where we're coming from. But now back to the question. With the system we have now, I don't think we're going anywhere close to the promised land. When the system changes, when we have working systems, when we have the law written, and then
are you saying the law is not written?
It's written. No, I'm going somewhere. When we have the law written, and then when you come to the streets, where you have the man, the child, the boy, the girl from the streets who does not have any form of connections or influence or backing or backbone by virtue of, people who can stand behind you and all that. Until we get to that point where the system just works for everybody, I'm not sure.
So which means at the moment, Nigeria is suffering from systematic problem, if I call it.
Technically, yes.
See, Nigeria people, you see what I'm saying? Technically, it will not come out right. Now, if the leadership landscape, for example, if the leadership landscape is going to change, let's assume, like I like flipping the question, let's assume you are the president of Nigeria. What system you're going to put in place to make sure that, because you say with what we have now, the hope is not possible. Now, let's assume you, King David JPLC. Yeah, I still try. At least I remember JP. That sounds like Jerusalem. That's the first thing I remember. JPLC, King David JPLC, President of Nigeria, knowing too well you've just given me an ecosystem of the system problematic. What system do you think that you want to implement to make Nigeria, the hope of an average Nigeria, come to pass? That's your camera. Remember, you are talking as President King David JPLC. Talk to your people.
Okay. If I become the president of Nigeria, you
don't understand. It's a role play.
You want me to speak from
the president
from the office?
Yes,
from the office. Okay. I'll fix the education sector. I'll fix the schools. I'll create opportunities, equal opportunities for
when you say
all Nigerians.
Fix education, school. What is again?
Yeah, equal opportunities. I mentioned the opportunities for all.
Okay.
Creating a working environment. Let's have light. I said that already. Let the roads be working. Let the health sector be working. Because the truth is, some of these structures are there, but for some reasons that, I'm not going to call anybody's name.
No, we're just talking about your own stuff here.
So what I will do, I'll fix the education system. I'll make sure the teachers are well looked after. When I was growing up, my teachers were role models to me. We looked at them and we had hope. The vastness of their knowledge when they're teaching you, you're inspired. You just wonder, man, how can someone be this brilliant and all that? They gave us hope. And then when I begin to look at the lives of the teachers, all my teachers that taught me, all of them I've met.
Don't you think
you wouldn't want to be a teacher?
As the president of Nigeria, President King David JPLC, because I have to call you that.
Yeah.
Don't you think that the problem is not just the whole educational system that you were talking about? Because at the end of the day, Nigerians are, like you said, Nigeria giant of Africa. Nigeria produces one of the most intellectual people in the world.
Yeah.
The doctors and Nigerians are scattered across all the nations of the earth. As a matter of fact, I have discovered, I think we were doing a research the other day, the research we published and stuff, to discover that most of the brain surgeons in Nigeria, literally almost 90% of them have exited Nigeria, never to return. Now, which means education in quotes seems to be fine. I use the word seems. Now, my question that I want to throw at you, President, is this. Don't you think that the real problem of Nigeria, which is somewhere around the fact that our curriculum is only theoretically empowered but not practically gainsaying?
You're very correct, because most times in schools, what we are taught is theories.
Welcome to AfriOne Show.
Yeah.
That's how you get the president to talk. Because he was busy dancing around the president. You know yourself, Bola Ahmed, me, I'll call you. Can we meet? Let's talk. So it's me and him. It has nothing to do with him, not the show. Me and you, we have to talk, sir. This country where you guys shout, we have headache. Wherever we are. So we need to solve it. So now back to you.
Yeah.
How then do we begin as a president to make Nigeria become a practicable country and not just theoretical country? Nigerians are good with words. You guys are causing problem in diaspora. When you open your mouth and you talk, the ladies flip their cap because they are words.
The giant of Africa. The giant of Africa. Don't run away from that.
Nah,
we're smart.
I'm holding my own name. This is the pride of Africa. How do we then begin to fix whereby Nigeria doesn't become just a word country, but a practical country? And I'm going somewhere with my next question, but let me give you time for you to answer this. How? Remember, you are the president.
Okay. In a very straight answer, don't just have the systems, make them work. Make them work. You know, when we disburse money for government projects, for developmental projects, let there be checks and balances. The leadership should leave the confines of the offices and hit the streets.
Well, do you think that your ministers and your cabinet, do you think that they understand that we, the people, voted them in? So which means our taxpayer is paying them. They are supposed to be an employee of the government and not the boss.
Yeah,
But your people literally now have a mindset that because they're the minister of whatever XYZ and co, they think that they are the boss, and we who vote them there, we're nonsense. Remember, I'm talking to the president.
Now,
that's the reason why AfriOne Show is what it is, because hard conversations, and in case if you are watching me, why he's thinking about solution. In case you're watching me and currently you feel as if you have an answer to some of those questions we're trying to discuss, because I refuse to be in Nigeria that will be afraid of having the real conversations, because at the end of the day, I'm a diaspora. I still believe in this country called Nigeria. That is why I am in the country at this very particular moment, to get like-minded people who would be able to have a constructive conversation. And if you feel that you have one, and you know that you are solution-driven, and please hear me, you can be Christian, Muslim, pagan, herbalist, traditionalist. In South Africa, we call it Sangoma, Nyangas, and whatever you are. But you know that you have a passion for this nation, and you think that you can come up with a constructive solution. We are aware of the problem. 60 years plus thus far. We cannot. You know, the other day I was speaking to a friend of mine who is a diaspora, and we were both talking, and the first thing he asked me, he's like, so Nigeria don't have trees. See, at this moment, trees is not, because there was a place I went to. The place was, I'm like, that is why God cannot punish us again when we get to heaven and say Nigeria must go to hell. Nigeria has first class ticket to heaven, regardless of our sin. Because there is no trees. As simple as that. Let's be honest, as simple. There is no trees. They've cut all the things to either do firewood or to do main road. So I'm saying that, please, if you know that you have a solution for us to talk, you can come to AfriOne Show. You can use the email, let's get talking. And in us getting talking, we are hoping that the government is going to listen. Another thing I've discovered with your people as the president, your people shy away from having serious conversations, knowing too well that you, the president, you know too well that their talk will not matter. So because of that, you don't take them serious. Why?
It will still take us back to the systems. You see, when
I like this, my guest. He knows that the problem is system.
It's the system. When you have,
to be honest, you're the first person who agrees that Nigeria has a systematic problem.
Yes, we do, and it's a people problem, not just leadership. It's not just leadership.
You're going down. If you say people, include me. Oh, explain.
Okay, the people, because we need people in offices. We need people to not just create systems, but to make the systems work. So
you say we need people in office. Are you saying that the people that are in offices they are not people?
They're people. They're people. We need people. You know, I was going somewhere. We need people who will stand for the truth, who will go into offices and not shift grounds. Because the truth is, these offices, when you go in there, I'm sure, I'm actually only assuming, if I were the president, when you get there, there may be quite a lot of diplomatic ties, international influences, quite a lot of things that we don't see on TV or in the real life situations. But there may just be quite a lot of influences that are serving us.
So you believe that there are influences that are still controlling Nigeria at the moment?
In everywhere in the world, every government and every system.
Let's leave what?
Every system. No, I won't accept it to be a Nigerian thing.
But we are doing AfriOne Nigeria, bridging the divide. Now you see now this is gaslighting. You are trying to now push it.
No. There are
Nigeria,
diplomatic ties with different countries of the world that directly affect the quality of life and the life that people live.
So you
even lawmaking and all that.
So you want to tell me that, for example, as a business person, there are diplomatic ties that is making business not to flourish in Nigeria? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't get that. Bring it again.
Are you saying to me that there are diplomatic ties that is making business not to flourish easily in Nigeria?
No, I can't prove that. I just told you that when you rise up to the occasion as the president, you will just see clearly what things are.
As we begin to bring our thought to a close on this very particular final segment, I'm going to mention a name and you are going to just pop up in your head in terms of listening. And
so let's see how vast I could be.
And please, you will pardon me. Let me even first of all carry the pictures on my phone so that I can see the pictures.
Okay.
If I see their pictures, I'll remember their name. So it makes life easy for me. It's just their names and that's all.
Do you want me to call their names?
No, I will call their names.
Then I'll tell you what comes to my mind
what comes to your mind, and that's just it. All right, number one, name and what comes to your mind about a person. Pastor Olumide Emmanuel.
Skip.
Pastor Paul Arifarasi. This guy's using his smile.
A pastor. A pastor of great influence within and without.
Pastor of great influence within and without.
Yeah, and a pace setter too.
And a pace setter.
Yeah.
Okay. Apostle Osaya Rome.
A man of truth. Dogged, he's rugged, he's ready to stand for the truth and doesn't care what anybody has to say.
Apostle Joshua Selman.
Joshua Selman, amazing, flawless man of God. So detailed in teaching.
Dr. Awoshika.
In the teaching of the word. Dr. Awoshika.
Spot on. I'm listening.
Skip.
Bishop David Oyedepo.
Bishop David Oyedepo, senior pastor, founder, Living Faith Church, Winners Chapel, Covenant University. One of the schools is on the top best 1,000 schools. University. One of the his university stands as one among the top 1,000 universities in the world.
Okay. Apostle Femi Lazarus.
Whoa.
Okay.
The pastor for the new day, the new light.
Pastor for the new day. That's what comes to mind straight with him.
He teaches the truth and he just gives you light.
Okay. Yeah. Pastor Kojo Imade.
That's a man of impeccable integrity.
Impeccable.
The senior pastor. The Covenant Nation.
Covenant Nation, yeah. So do you hear they put impeccable?
Yeah, impeccable.
Okay. Another one again that is flowing on my head. Ex-President General Ibrahim Babangida.
Babangida.
If you can just skip, or you have skip as a button.
Ibrahim Babangida. Of course, one time military leader of Nigeria. That's all I'm going to say.
That's what you're going to say. You don't want to get anywhere.
What I remember back in the days and growing up as a little child, there was a time we had okay, don't worry, let's leave that. Let's leave that.
All right, what happened to another name I'm going to mention, Showere? What comes to mind?
Whoa, Showere. One man that a lot of people know, if he rises to power, many people will answer.
And yet you've just said on the previous previous segment, that the problem with this thing is people, and when we get there, we change because you can't trust a human. But you can trust Showere that when he gets there.
I don't trust him, to be very honest.
But you just said you can't.
I don't think any human being deserves my trust. No.
Okay, it's fine enough. Let me not cause wahala on that very particular, because we can fight trouble.
Better still, let me say he's been running for the office of the president for the longest time possible. And quite a lot of people feel that he will do well.
The moment you hear this name, what comes to your mind? General Sani Abacha, late.
General Sani, quite a tough, rugged military leader in Nigeria, served at the highest level of powers.
All right, I'm going to pause on this very particular one because I don't want to call other names again that would let's skip, because the ones in my head now is African leaders. Before I start calling names like Julius Malema, Kwame Nkrumah,
yeah, freedom fighter.
Before I start calling all those names,
I don't know. I can't remember his party, but that's one.
Hold your flag. Send a message to your country, Nigeria. What hope message do you want to give them as we begin to bring our thought to a close?
Yeah. My hope message to Nigerians all over the world.
He's folding the country.
I'm not. I'm trying to get it all.
Folding, like, let's close this country. Like,
no.
No, that's what you're doing now.
I love every people with their own challenges and all that.
He's
and
folding it. Like, let's fold it. And
we're strong people. And to all Nigerians all over the world, keep fighting. Do everything you can do, but always remember home, that we are the ones that will fix this nation. No matter how hard or tough it gets, just keep going, because that's what we're known for. We are resilient people. We always rise above the shadows, we always rise above. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep your hope alive. You will need it, because that's what you may just need.
I love it. Say you need it to Jackpot.
No, I don't. I don't belong to the Jackman Nation.
Wow, you don't belong to, so we who are the Jackman Nation, we are fine.
It's your choice. As a matter of fact, I think you all should come back home.
Come and do what?
After you fix the system. That's what you're trying to do.
After you fix the system, then you call us, we'll come back. That's as simple as that.
So why are you leaving the fixing of the system to us?
Because you guys are more in tune with the reality that is happening here compared to my kind. 20 years out of the country.
You guys can, but don't forget home. Don't forget home.
We're trying our best.
Yeah.
How can
I know
we
you
find
won't.
you?
I know you won't, because if you have forgotten home, you're not going to be putting up all these discussions. These are real in-depth, real-time conversations that will give us the answers that we need. So,
how can we find you, and what do we have to expect from you?
all right, you can check me out on Instagram, King David JPLC. It goes across Facebook, TikTok. I have a whole lot of stuff coming, especially for the rest of the year. New songs, events lined up, and in due time, we're going to give all the information out there. So just watch out for us. We may just be coming to a city close to
I'm tempted to ask him, when is he coming to South Africa?
South Africa. Very soon. Very soon.
I hope not Jesus kind of soon.
No.
Okay.
No.
As long as it's not Jesus kind of soon, so it's fine. So we can still give you 5 years before you come in there.
No, 5 years is too much.
Thank you. I know how to bring it in, so 2 years somewhere.
2 years max.
Okay, 2 years max. So South Africa, let's get ready as we welcome King David JPLC. I hope I got it right. But thank you so much for coming to AfriOne Show, Bridging the Divide Nigeria.
Thank you for having me.
I've seen that you have sweat a lot.
It's been tough in here. It's been tough, really tough.
On the spot, name 3 people that you want them to be on this show before I find myself jacked into South Africa again back. Name them on the spot. Okay. 3 of your friends.
Toby Jeff Richards. Femi has been here.
Femi's been here, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
so
out.
Toby
Jeff Richards, Onosario.
Okay.
Onosario. And then my younger brother. His name is Ephraim Brooko. I think you're going to enjoy him on this podcast.
All right. Yeah. He has just mentioned your name, so definitely that he will be facilitating or sending me your number. I'll be calling you if you're watching this very particularly for you to come on the show before I find myself where the jackpot comrade. With that being said, it's a wrap on this very particular show. I'll see you on the subsequent production on the AfriOne Show Nigeria, Bridging the Divide. If you have any question you want to ask us, please, you can definitely send it on the email that you're seeing on the screen, and we'll do as much as possible to answer your question. It's a wrap. Thank you so much. I remain your host, the Afropolitan Apostle, Darlington Steve. God bless you.